The Russian-Ukraine war started early this year and it caused the world economy to take another heavy hit. But how does the war in Ukraine affect us Malaysians? Especially when Malaysia is so far away from the war itself, we practically stay almost on the other side of the world. Unfortunately, the Russia-Ukraine war has created much bigger impact than most of us would realize. Not only us in Malaysia is experiencing the after effects of the war, but everyone else in the world are also feeling the pinch. So what exactly is this negative impact that the war has brought to all of us?
Commenting on the unfolding crisis in Ukraine, Center for Market Education's Carmelo Ferlito says sanctions on Russian oil and gas would mean higher energy prices globally, and Malaysia will not be spared from the wider impact, even though it is an oil-producing nation.
The beginning of the war in Ukraine, this is going to have an impact on energy prices on global scale. And this is, out of doubt, going to be expensive for consumers, to put it simply. For the oil price,
well, it all started with the international trade, also known as worldwide trade. International trading started around the 18th century, when the economists realized that each country had their own competitive advantage in producing certain goods compared to other countries. For example, in Malaysia, our main export are palm oil and rubber trees because our warm climate is suitable for growing them. However, our warm weather also make it difficult to produce plantation like wheat because wheat need a lower temperature. Therefore, we import most of our wheat from other countries like Australia, America, and of course Ukraine.
One part of that, international trade is not as straightforward as a single transaction. It is far more complex than that. Just think of the rubber that Malaysia ship out. First, it may be sent to country A, where it is made into tires. After that, rubber tires may be re-exported to other nations so that they can be used in the manufacturing of automobiles, aeroplanes, and other types of vehicles. Finally, the finished product may be re-exported again to other nations to fulfill some other purpose. So we hope by now you guys could see what's going on here. The international trade is what ties us all in a giant economic cycle where we depend on each other for resources and build financial means for our own country's economy.
But what if one country cuts off its trading supplies, causing the international chain to break? What would happen to the other countries who really needed their resources? Well, this is exactly what's happening to us right now.
Russia has cut off gas supplies to Poland and Bulgaria.
Today, Russia has walked the talk. Who is hurt the most? Germany. They're the ones feeling the biggest impact. Germany still depends on Russia for around a third of its supplies, but now they'll have to do with less Russian gas.
This move to cut natural gas supply to Europe is intensifying global competition for seaborne shipments.
Russia is one of the top oil and gas exporters in the whole wide world. With them out of the picture, countries will import oil and gas from them to look for alternatives immediately. So that's good, right? Because Malaysia, we export oil and gas. Well, not necessarily, because this is a sudden situation. Many oil and gas providers do not have enough supplies to meet with the unexpected jump in demand. As a result, when supplies are low and demand is high, oil and gas prices also increase. And since the price of oil and gas on a worldwide scale has gone up, the cost of our local power plant has increased significantly as well. This also means that the government will need to provide additional subsidy. if it wants to maintain our electrical price at a reasonable level. But how long can our government keep up with the rising global price? We have already experienced a hike in electricity tariff early of this year, and with the global increasing pressure on oil and gas prices, it is likely for us to face another hike in electricity tariffs in the near future. I'm sure that many of you are aware about the news on chicken prices going up. Chicken growers have said that one of the primary causes for the inflation in chicken price had cause of the rising cost of chicken feed. This is because chicken feed is mainly made from wheat, and wheat is something that we can't grow in Malaysia, which is why we import all of our animal feeds from other countries, and who is one of the biggest wheat exporters.
Ukraine, on the other hand, the fifth largest, accounting for almost 10% of the global exports. So together, the two account for almost 30% of the world's wheat supply.
Imagine if you were buying your food from Ukraine, and now, let's say you need to go to Canada, or Australia, or Argentina. That means that you will have to pay more because of extra freight. And you will have to pay more in time because it will take you longer. And you will pass these costs to the consumer.
According to one of the local traders, it increased nearly double this year. And wheat is not only used in animal feed. Many of our Malaysian food contains flour, which is made of wheat as well. So items like roti canai, kuih, cake, and bread, all these are made from wheat, flour, and the repeat effect just gets bigger and bigger. With the war causing the food and goods prices to increase, the central banks around the world had to increase interest rate as a measure to counter inflation. Once this happened, there will be unavoidable pressure on Bank Negara to follow the trend and raise our country's interest rate. This is so that we could prevent the depreciation of the ringgit. But when Bank Negara increase our interest rate, those with loans and mortgages will be affected by it as well, especially towards businesses that depend on bank loans and the businesses that may pass these expenses on to their customer. Meaning, you and me will get the effect of this war due to the increasing of interest rate. We have interviewed a student UUM about the impact of Russia-Ukraine war towards them.
Pada pendapat anda, apakah yang anda faham tentang inflasi?
Pada pendapat saya, inflasi merupakan satu kenaikan harga terhadap barangan dan perkhidmatan yang pada sesuatu masa, tempoh masa.
Pada pendapat anda, apakah langkah yang anda lakukan untuk mengatasi inflasi ini apabila anda merupakan pengguna yang agak terkesan akibat peperangan Rusia-Ukraine ini?
Pada pendapat saya, langkah yang saya boleh lakukan untuk mengatasi masalah ini adalah mengikut keperluan dan bajet, dan saya akan membandingkan harga sebelum memberi sesuatu barang.
Pada pendapat anda, perang Rusia-Ukraine memberi impak apa terhadap ekonomi Malaysia?
Pada pendapat saya, perang Ukraine-Rusia ini memberikan impak yang besarlah kepada negara kita. Terutamanya dalam minyak matahari, gandum dan bijirin. Ini disebabkan oleh negara Ukraine ini merupakan sumber import yang utama dan terbesar di Malaysia kita. So ini memberikan gangguan lah semasa peperangan ini berlaku.